Introduce yourself. Can't do it fast. Introduce yourself. Can't do it fast. Understand yourself. This is not a test. You have all the reason to begin again. This request for love. Put your request. You have all the reason to begin again. Honor this request. I have found love. Can't rest,
All right, the band remains the same. The night changes, of course. St. Ricketts, the Catalyst, www.saintricketts.com. And for some reason, I'm echoing. Oh, I know I'm echoing because I didn't turn my phone down. Okay, there we go. See, I told you, technical genius. I am not. I'm a technical disaster. Anyway, St. Ricketts at www.saintricketts.com. The Catalyst is a song we play on Wednesday nights for our backup show, our brother show. It's Yo 2.0. Good evening. I am Jeff the Shark Perini. You know me, of course, from the Yo Show on Tuesday nights. We branched out to 2.0 on Wednesday nights for a couple of reasons. Number one, a lot of bands like, hey, I want to be on. A lot of people like, hey, get me on the show. So let's do a second night. And I also bring in people who are in the podcast world or do videos or do their own stuff and have them on as guest co-hosts. We kind of get different point of views. Our good friend Nachus in the house. What's up, brother? So tonight, a young lady that I've been following on social media for quite a while, and I always loved her, and I love what she does. And I said, hey, how about coming on? And she was more than excited to be here because she likes to hear herself talk like I do. Everybody, welcome to the Yo Show family, Marcy Rockergirl. Marcy, good evening.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for inviting me to do this. This is so much fun.
Oh, and thank you. The fun hasn't even begun yet. It gets better when the great guests come on and the booze get flowing a little bit. My mouth starts to linger, all that good stuff. So what we do is Marcy's watched the last couple weeks, so she's familiar. And if you're new to us and you're here to watch Marcy, etc. So what we do is we talk about basic stuff. We don't do that crazy stuff. We don't do politics and hard-hitting subjects. There's more than enough of that out there. We're here to entertain, have some fun, introduce you to new acts, new bands, new actors, authors, and some that are already vintage and some that are out now and hot. So this is what we do. And Marcy, she does her own stuff. Tell us a little something about your YouTube experience, your channel. What got let's meet you real quick while we get started here.
Hi, everybody. I am Marcy Rockergirl. I have a brand new YouTube channel. It is a little over a month old. And what I do is I tackle topics. It's called 5 Minutes with Marcy Rockergirl. So I talk about everything from social media. I talk about singles and couples. There is an episode about the mechanical bull, about riding the mechanical bull. I've done several projects. I've done a little bit of acting. So that's a future episode coming up. But I talk about writing novels. I have an episode where I talk about writing songs. And basically, I just give you 5 minutes, 5 tips, and I try to keep it light and fun. Um, so I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I talk a lot about professional wrestling because I also went to wrestling school.
Yeah.
I have a few projects that are outstanding. I have an independent movie that I shot last year. I have a bit part in. I also did my video vixen. Um, Video vixen. That's like one of my favorite words.
I
Because
always
people,
love it.
well, people always say, "What is a video vixen?" And I actually looked it up on Urban Dictionary. But it's not exactly what I think of because I think of more like the 80s and I think more of like a Bobby Brown or
Right.
Tawny. So I
Yeah.
think rock and roll chicks. But yeah, so I was in a music video. It's not out yet. Hopefully sometime this year. But basically, if you want to keep track of all my projects, or if you want, links to my YouTube channel, definitely check me out on Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Yeah, check out Marcy Rockergirl. And you certainly are a rocker girl, which is super cool. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on tonight, being that you're into the rock music and the local scene, etc., is because we have an awesome guest tonight, an awesome band coming on. They go by the name of Poeta, and they are local guys from New Jersey. Super cool band. They got new stuff coming out, doing all kind of great shows. And George Powell and the guys have agreed to come on. I'm very excited for that. A lot of my friends locally enjoy this band. I'm like, let's look into it. And within minutes of emailing George, he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. So we're excited for that. Are you excited? I know you've been doing a lot of research on these guys.
I have been doing research. I've been listening to their music videos. I also got a chance to watch one of their previous podcasts, and there's like a question that I am like dying to ask him. I literally woke up this morning and I'm like, you know what? That is a great question. Hopefully they think it's a great question too, but I think it's a great question. I can't wait to find out what their answer is going to be.
I like that, and I love answering and or trying to ask good questions. And you get a lot of times when people are like, yeah, it's a good question. And sometimes it's just a matter of just asking like regular questions, and we treat each guest with the utmost respect because that's what they deserve. And that's why I said you don't do silly topics. You want to know what drives them, what got them there, and what inspires them, etc. That's the cool stuff. And that's what we do here on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights with the Yo Show and Yo 2.0. So sit back, relax. A lot of people watch us on a replay. Some watch us live. If you're watching live, feel free to comment, say hi. Say hi to Marcy. She's new to the family. And as I said, once you hit the Yo Show stage, you're now Yo Show family. It's a big family, so you're now part of our family.
Yay. Thank you. I feel so blessed to be part of your family now.
Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate that. So yeah, Poeta will be with us. We'll get them on like around 8:25, 8:30 is what we usually do with the guest. I see George Powell is already backstage getting ready, so that's super cool. And we love to talk and get to meet and talk to new bands. Now, Marcy Rockergirl, I know you're also a singer. Tell us like how you got into singing. What gets you into singing, and how much of a let me see, a stress release, I guess, is it to just rip some notes?
So I actually majored in voice my first year of college. But honestly, I consider myself more of a writer than a singer. I'm the
Okay.
kind of person that I pour my heart and my soul into my words. So I love singing. Don't get me wrong. I think singers are amazing, but true to heart, I am a writer. And when I sing or I hear somebody sing those words that are so personal to me, it feels like I just gave a piece of myself, out to the world. So, me, as much as I love singing, and don't get me wrong, singing is great, I am so much more a writer. And I mean, not just music, I've written novels, I've written screenplays. Like that is how like I bare my soul. like in my lyrics. So,
That's pretty awesome. I can't sing a lick, which is why I do this. But I
what about
enjoy this, and
what about karaoke? I mean, do you do karaoke?
I can do karaoke. I'm not a. I consider myself a karaoke entertainer, not a singer, because my voice isn't that good. But I can carry the entertainment. I just can't really sing. And the funny story I always tell the Jewel who does the show with me on Tuesday nights, when we first met and talked about doing the show and having local bands and bands all over the country and every way we wanted to do it, we went out. We went to a bar. We had some food, and afterwards, she's like, let's go do karaoke. And I'm like, okay, if you can karaoke with somebody, you're friends for life because that's really laying yourself out there. Of course, not for like bands like Poeta, as we ask them when they get on, like, the nerves and all, like when you get on stage. But if you're not really a singer like me, it's a little bit scary laying yourself out there.
Well, what did you choose? What was your song?
I usually sing Sublime.
It's a good one.
Santeria. And then for some unknown reason, I got this obsession with singing Love Shack, and you got to get a
Oh,
female, and every female I do it with hates it. So if that's one of your songs, we have to get together in karaoke sometime and hit Love Shack, because I love doing that song. I don't do it well, but I love it.
but I will tell you something that I've learned about karaoke. Um, Obviously we love great singers that can hit all the notes, but really it's the confidence and enthusiasm, and it's picking a really popular song. Like, I've seen some people, like, the second that song goes, the whole play, like Bohemian Rhapsody is one of those songs, like everybody wants to sing it. So part of the joy of karaoke is, if you have the right audience and you pick the right song, nobody will ever hear you sing, because all of the audience will be singing along with you extremely loud, and then you can just bask in the glory of it all.
Either
I mean,
that or you,
that's
either
what I
that or you, either that or you wait to the end, like around 1 o'clock in the morning when everybody's pretty heavily sauced. They don't really hear you singing. They hear a sing, but they don't really know who's singing and how badly. Trust me, it gets bad.
But also another good thing is, sometimes they have places, not a lot, but they have a few cool places that do live band karaoke.
Yes, I always wanted to do that. That's cool.
That was a totally different experience. And when I did it, they had the coolest house band that would sing along with you. So they were like your backup singers, and sometimes they were like your co-lead, but you felt like you were really the lead singer in a band. I mean, it was just amazing. And then the most amazing audience who just like supported everybody and sang along. And even if you weren't really that into karaoke, once you saw all the love going around, you're like, you know what? I got to get up there. I got to do this. So you
I
find the spot, you'll love it.
I'd probably be getting kicked off by the band because I wouldn't sit down. Like, all right, dude, no, I'm in. This is me. I'm in. So I like to do something on the show, and even though the people at Facebook fight me on it, that's
Mhm.
okay. YouTube always does it just fine. Twitch always does it just fine. When we get these bands that come on with their music, we like to play a song, and we're going to play a song tonight from Poeta. We're going to play a song called Stella, and we're going to get it on pretty much in a minute. And like I said, like the people at Facebook, I mean, the bands on the show, they know their music's coming on. So stop giving me the mute. They mute out the music parts. Very frustrating. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But let's play it anyway, because that's what folks come. They come here to see Poeta. It's a song called Stella. I'm going to load it up here with my wonderful technology.
And
Marcy
it's a
says,
and it's a great one. So hopefully
yeah,
they'll keep it in.
I agree. It is a great one and definitely worth listening to. And like I said, a lot of my friends are fans of this band. And I see for great reason why. The music is absolutely awesome. So let's kick it out. It's going to be, it's about a 3-minute song. Exactly. No, not St. Ricketts. There we go. It's called Stella by tonight's special guest, Poeta. We're going to play it on right now. We'll be back with Yo 2.0 in about 3 minutes. Enjoy. Your phone ringing.
Did I admit to a crime?
Absolutely outstanding. That's a hot number right there. I love it. Stella by tonight's special guest, Poeta. We'll have them on here in a few minutes. Marcy, give us the lowdown. What do you think?
I loved it. Like I can't wait to find out all everything about the song. Like I can't wait. I have like so many questions. It's some good stuff. I enjoyed it.
I
I love
love it. The instruments are really tight on point, and I like the kind of music where everything fits. The drumming, the guitars, the singing, everything is just right on point, and that's definitely what I get out of this song. And like I said, I know Facebook is funny about playing music, and if they mute it, they mute it. Whatever. YouTube, Twitch keeps it, so follow us, watch us there as well. And I have to play the music because it's so damn good. And when I have to say how I found this band through social media, and a lot of my friends on social media follow them, like them. I said, all right, let's check it out. Within seconds, I'm like, yep, yeah, it's the kind of band I want to talk to. I mean, I love the music, so I got to get these guys on. And like I said, very receptive, and they'll be with us in a few minutes, and we'll talk and ask some questions and have some fun and improv and check out what gets them rolling. I'm stoked. I'm very excited. I get so
kind of makes me want to dance. Like it's
right.
kind of like I mean I don't know if it's really supposed to be a dance song. Obviously, it's rock. It kind of had that beat, and it kind of made me want to dance. And
I tell you what,
as often as I can. So
that's my kind of dancing too. Like when we take the screen out, we blow the screen up with the video, and I'm like headbanging and I'm rocking and I'm moving where people can't see me because I'm a lousy dancer. But I'm moving and I'm grooving to it, absolutely. But it's definitely my kind of stuff. And these guys are super talented, and they're locals also. They're Jersey guys, so we ask them about that, and when we can see them in the area, et cetera, et cetera. Tons of questions. We usually say a half hour. I don't know if we're going to go on in a half hour. We might go forward. So I apologize to the guys ahead of time. Let's get them out there. Let's start out. If the guys are ready, we're ready. I know it's a little early. We usually say 8:30, but it's 8:20. And Kevin Torres is already in the back. George Powell is out there. So that's why you come on. You come on to see the pretty guest co-host. I always make sure I get pretty women to co-host with me because who wants to see this? So you bring in the pretty girls, and then you bring in the talent because that's why everybody watches this show. And like I said,
I'm the talent too. Why?
You are. Well, you are also the talent. Trust me. I've got a keen eye here. So like I said, like people watch live, people watch their recordings, and I get a lot of great feedback. So thank you to everybody that does tune in, and let's get these guys out here. Let's talk. So Poeta, again, is the band backstage. We have with us right now. We'll bring them out. Mr. Kevin Torres and Mr. George Powell. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Yo 2.0.
Thank you for having us, Marcy and Jeff. We really appreciate you. This is awesome.
Awesome,
man. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. It's super cool. Like I said, a couple of my friends started sharing your stuff the last few days. I'm like, all right, let's check them out because we love bringing in music. We love it. And I'm like, yeah, these guys are perfect. And Georgia responded right away, which is super cool. So let's get right. We appreciate that too. Let's get right down to the nitty gritty. Poeta, the name, how did you come up with it? Who discovered it? How'd you get the band together?
So I was on my way to go pick up an orange rocker verb head, all the way up in Orange County, New Jersey. And I ended up seeing, like, we were in the midst of talking about a band name, and we had a bunch of them that we just didn't like. And so I seen Poeta on a gravestone, and I was like, that sounds pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, I mentioned it to the guys, and the guys were like, all right, yeah, that sounds cool. That's how that happened.
It just ran from there. I mean, it was kind of like one of the best names that we came up with. I think the only thing I ever came up with was like Aristotle, but it just didn't like catch on like immediately. I don't know. It was just, we were so focused on writing our debut album, and we wanted to kind of like put that last in a sense. So when Kevin brought that to the attention in our garage, we were like, oh, absolutely, we're definitely going with this. I feel like it's just very catchy. It's a Latin, it's a Latin word for poet, it's plural. So I mean, it just fit us who we were as artists. So we just thoroughly enjoyed it right off the bat.
I love it. Marcy, go ahead, jump in. We'll take turns.
They actually answered my first question because when I first started doing a little bit of research on you guys, that's the first thing I read, that you got it from a gravestone, and I thought, wait, could this be right?
Yeah, thank God the band's not haunted though, so that's good. So
Well, definitely. I mean, that's definitely important. And like I said, the sound is great, and it's pretty cool because, like I
Thanks.
said, poeta kind of means like to create poetry. So, are you guys poets to music, or are you musicians that just write great lyrics?
Um, I think music is just a great tool to express yourself, and I think poetry is part of art, and I think music's also a part of art. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the connection there. As far as like lyrics and stuff, I have my personal input on the writing process for that, but I leave it up to interpretation a lot. I leave a lot of things open ended and nothing too close to home. That way, people can kind of gravitate towards it more and can see a little bit of themselves inside the lyrics, not just something that's for me, you know.
It's very cool. I guess I'll ask George. We'll take kind of turns. How much does everybody have a piece of the writing process? Are you into songwriting as well, or are you into the music? How does everybody fit in their different roles in the band?
well, with these releases in this album, I think majority of it was Kevin and Anthony. We usually go through a structure process of writing up blueprints, and then drums would be imported just as basic stuff throughout verses, choruses, and such. And for me, being the drummer of the band, I will take what I think sounds pretty well structured, like right out the gate, and keep it because our guitar player is also a fantastic songwriter, as well as Kevin. And then maybe I'll add some like in the pocket fills, nothing too crazy. Maybe I'll change a chorus or a verse here and there. But we all definitely have an equal part of writing in the process. It's just with this one specifically, it was more so during the COVID era. So we were supposed to go write this album right before it hit, and then we had to like take another year and a half just to write again and just keep writing. So basically, we took the best of the best of what we had and we put on this album. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. I'm very thankful that you both enjoyed the single that we released. I know Marcy, like it's definitely something you could dance to for sure. Um, I hope we've played it. I think like a couple times already for some live shows, and people dance, people jump. It's easy, it's catchy, it's rhythmically pleasing. I don't know. So we all have a fair share for sure in writing the songs that we have to for not only we did for this album, but for the future of what we're trying to do too.
Very cool.
So I have a question, I guess for either one of you. So, what was the quickest song that you wrote, and did it make it on this album?
Oh.
Well, it definitely wasn't Blueprints. I mean, that was the last album, but
Yeah. As far as this album, I think probably the quickest thing we wrote was a track called "Glorious," and that one was that's actually an old track from before the first album, and we kind of reworked it, and it was one of those things that just kind of happened in the blink of an eye and just made its way onto the record. It was a chorus that Anthony, our other guitarist, was very fond of, and he just didn't want to let it go. So we reworked it and just went with it.
Yeah, I think the only thing we rewrote in that was the bridge towards the end of it, from what I remember, in the garage days back in 2016,
Yes.
the glory days.
Yeah, everybody's got those garage days, and I love hearing that phrase. So the brand new single is coming out. It's called Blossom. July 29th. Very exciting, brand new stuff. And when we talked about getting on the show, he said, "Yeah, let's get on before the brand new single." So the 29th is next Friday. I can't wait. And as soon as it comes on, I'm going to explode a little over my social media. But tell us a little bit about this song. Oh, absolutely. Tell us about the song because we got the little clip. I think it's great. Tell us about that process and also the process of releasing a single because a lot more bands are doing it independently, one song at a time, which I think is awesome. Gives you a little taste.
Yeah, marketing wise, I think it's the best way to go to because I'm the social media guy. But for us, when we sat down talking about planning out the timeline of this album, I think Stella was, just to backtrack a little bit, one of the most relatable songs that people can just listen to. I mean, you could just identify it as a genre as like pop punk or rock, whatever you want to do it with. But with Blossom, this is more of an emotional, lyrically, and with like the writing of the songs and stuff. And Kevin can definitely dive deep into the lyrics and himself. But this is something that I think would be like a good secondary single to release. Now that we're all hyped up for this first song, it's like In Your Face and Punchy.
I
With
like it.
the second song, we're definitely going to definitely, it might make some people cry, it might make people like relate to it. So definitely a more emotional song to release with something like this. And with the music video and everything too, everything you see is everything like from Kevin's brain. That is his whole entire creativity. He took everything in that grasp and just went with it. So artistically, in all, lyrically and music video wise, it's something pretty special for sure.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that, George.
Yeah.
It is, man. Like it's good, dude. It's good. It's a great process.
So give us some insight, Kevin, because I mean, we always talk about artists and how deep they think and laying their art out there. So tell us how you create the songs, and tell us also about the fear and emotion of laying your heart and soul out there for people to listen to.
So I think as far as like going into the writing of the lyrics, it's really weird. I let the instruments just kind of speak to me and bring out an emotion in me that um, I'm not necessarily thinking about at the time. It could dig up some very old stuff or remind me of something that I've tried to forget, in recent memory. But I try not to latch on to something that's, super specific and just kind of more of an emotion and write on that. This song Blossom is very much about like, going through the hardships of life. I mean, I think a lot of us can relate to some of the stuff that, we went through during the pandemic, with lockdown and everything. And then, even previous to that, all that stuff. It's just about, getting through to the other side and asking that question, am I going to be okay? And I think the answer is yeah. If you just treat yourself with a little tender love and care, you'll end up blossoming and growing into some, your full potential. And I think a lot of people need to take a little bit more time to take care of their mental health and their physical health.
Love it. Marcy, get in there. Go ahead.
Well, no, I do have a question. So my question is, I don't know if there's any aspiring musicians out there, but if there are, what advice would you give them that you wish somebody would have given you when you first started out?
For me personally, I would say definitely don't be too hard on yourself. Just enjoy your process in writing, enjoy your process in creating what you are, and have fun with it. I mean, I've been doing this since I was 13 years old, and I think this is probably like one of the coolest projects I've ever been a part of. So, I mean, and it's just all fun. We all have the same experiences and such. So, definitely don't be too hard on yourself, but have fun. Like, get creative. Do it for the right reasons. Some people, I mean, people want to have it for reasons that they want to get famous. That's fine, dude. Like, people could definitely get to that, point in life when they're rock stars or something. Like, that's cool. But I mean, I personally do it just for the love of it, to relate and talk to people who are listening to our music, and then come up to shows and we just have like long-hour conversations, or like it's a podcast in real life. So it's definitely something cool to relate to. But just have fun with it, man. Like, I think the most fun we had too, like with Kevin, he could definitely agree with this. Like, the amount of times we would just get together every weekend and just write and write and write and write, and then just everybody goes home and does their thing, and then we play a show every once in a while. It was just it was so cool to get together when we had that opportunity.
I think the cool thing about what we started to learn ourselves as a band too was start writing for yourselves, not necessarily for an audience that doesn't necessarily exist yet. Write music that's true to you. I'm not really big on, hey, let's write music because that's what's in right now or whatever. Just express yourself, have fun with it, like George was saying, and just be true to yourself.
It's great advice. It really is like the perfect advice. And I look at bands and some people laugh like Taylor Swift. Oh, all she does is writes real life breakup stories, but they sell. And No Doubt, when they first came out, like No Doubt wrote about heartbreak, but it sells. You write true emotions. I think it's an awesome idea, guys. There's no way on earth that people will not feel it, because when you write real, people feel it. People understand it.
Yeah, and I've had some friends in this industry who have like actually denied contracts because those labels actually want them to fit a certain niche. where they want them to have a certain message. And like, I didn't think it was real. I thought it was one of those like, oh, that's gotta be like a myth or a conspiracy theory. Like labels don't do that, but they will actually turn around if they're investing in you for the product. They will actually turn around. It's not all labels, it's some labels, but they will take that music and turn around and say, no, you gotta write again. And I was shocked when I was told that. I was like, wow, I'm glad we're in a position where we can do whatever we want. Because sometimes that's not the case.
Exactly, and we get to hear people say, "Look, if a big network like a Sirius satellite ever picked up and said, look, change who's on your show, change how you talk," I'm like, nah, I'd rather not. I don't need to make millions of dollars. I like doing this, man. I like having fun and meeting new bands like yourself. And if I drop an F-bomb and drink a beer or whatever the hell it is, man, that's what we do here. We're all rock stars right now.
It's crazy too, because like you have to look at bands like we're obviously I think mentioned it. I see it down in the little scroll by text. Errors in Action, the ball's in their court. They're not signed. They got very successful off the TikTok app, just well as other bands that have been on there. As we're trying to do it too, but the ball's in their court. Like, what's the label going to tell them? Like, what they can and cannot do? They're literally touring. I'm sure they hired a booking agent and like they have management, but they're doing it all themselves. Like, that's not through a label. That's through their own funding. So, what's the label going to tell them to do when they're already successful? So,
exactly.
So I have a question. If you could be remembered your band for just one thing, what would you like to be remembered for?
That's a really good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that personally. I mean, maybe I have to make me think.
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, right? It's not a black and white question. It's very open-ended.
Yeah, sure.
I think if we had the opportunity to kind of create a community, that would be like the biggest thing, like creating a community that people can connect, whether it's at shows or on an online forum or anything like that. Just being able to create that and creating friendships, relationships, and just trying to create a safe place for positivity to kind of grow. You know what I mean? I think in this world, there's a lot of negativity. And I think through our music, just creating that, that unity with people, with people who might not necessarily get along, but through music, they're like, hey, like, you're cool, So, and then, people can kind of start discovering each other. So yeah, that's probably the one thing I would like to be remembered for, is kind of causing, that kind of chain reaction.
No, I totally agree, because my favorite band, my number one, is My Chemical Romance, and they are a band that literally says like, I think it was like when 3 Cheers was released, and it was at like a local show, packed before they got super big, and someone like held up a T-shirt and said MCR saved my life, and Gerard was like, that's exactly what we're here for. That's what I would like to do. So that's essentially what Kevin's saying. Like, we can create a community and everybody can like take care of one another. Like, when somebody's down, you pick them up. That's the whole like concept of what we're trying to accomplish.
I tell you what,
it should be.
Not
to. That's how it should be.
That's right. It is how it should be, and I don't even need to listen to your lyrics to start crying. You guys are missing me out with this great inspirational stuff.
Dude, this is who we are, man. Let me buy you a beer too. We'll get really emotional.
Dude, I'm all about the beer. Definitely a beer guy. I know tonight I'm drinking the Seaside vodka teas. That's all I got in the house.
Oh, but so good.
They are good though. They're dangerously good, and I'm definitely into them.
We just came back from Red Tank Brewery. I still have like grains on my shirt. I just like had to come off because it's like an hour away from where I'm at in Bucks County. But I grabbed one of their American ales, and it's literally a sweet Yingling. It's absolutely fantastic.
Love it, because Yingling's one of my favorites as well. So
me too.
And that's
I'm a Springborn girl, so I kind of feel a little bit out of place. although I do a little bit of the apple cider kind of,
Yeah, like Angry Orchard.
Yeah,
like I could definitely have a couple of those for sure. They're not too sweet. That's why I like them. Or Reds. Actually, Reds is too sweet.
Yeah,
sometimes.
That's kind of good though. I love the apple, the fruity stuff. Frozen cocktails and stuff.
I saw some information, website, social media, that you guys appeared on Van's Warped Tour. I mean, I got to ask about that. I got to talk about that, because that's one of the biggest festivals and concert events that goes on. What was it like being there, and who did you mess with, and what was it like, man? Tell us a little something about it, if you can remember it, because it looks like George is kind of freaking out about that question.
That's when they say like your life flashes before your eyes before you die. Like literally, that's I see everything we did for 10 days straight on that tour.
Wow.
It was probably the most like incredible experience for all four of us. Oh man! Unfortunately, I mean this will be brought up now, but rest in peace, Chester Bennington. This was our first day of Warped Tour for us 5 years ago, and I'll tell a crazy story. I won't make it long, but it was in Indianapolis. We're the first band on. We were sponsored by Skull Candy, so we were the first band on. But it was delayed a bit because I guess we had like a rain delay of some sort or some kind of weather emergency. So we started playing, not knowing that everybody was forced into the pavilion where we were playing. So we were split. So we were technically on the main stage next to Journey's right foot stage, but we were sharing it. So we're literally playing through our set, and as we're playing through our set, like the seats and the pits start getting filled, and then we kind of got like this slight encore, but it wasn't from the mass majority because we're just nobodies at this point. We just started off. We released our album that year in March, and the stage manager was so hyped. I was like, "They love you. Play one more song," and then we played our first single, and dude, and after that, it was just no rain days. Every day was a great day.
Wow.
Free beer every day, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was incredible. I could talk about this forever, but
yeah, it was a little surreal, like being able to live that life for a little bit, because for us on the level that we're at, we're still working, we're still trying to create through, the normal schedule of our lives, and to just kind of take a break from that and just live the life that we're super passionate about. I think that was so awesome, and it was great to like meet some of the bands that we grew up listening to and looked up to, and definitely influenced us in one way or another. And again, just making a connection with strangers in the Midwest. We barely get out of the tri-state area, at the time, and we're in the Midwest, and all of a sudden we're making fans, fans that actually, like, we posted something today, and some fans were talking about how they had seen us in Austin, Texas, and
Wow.
San Antonio, and I was like, wow, I can't believe people are still paying attention to us from that long ago, especially with the little kind of break we took through the pandemic and the writing process for this new album. So thank you to those, wonderful people for, sticking with us through all that. But yeah, that's probably the best part of that. Fans Warped Tour was awesome, and Kevin Lyman was so great to us. So definitely shout out to him.
Yeah, but dude, when I started looking into the history, and I'm like, Vans Warped Tour is a huge deal, and I'm like, man, I got to dig into those questions because, like you said, for that period, you were, excuse my language, you're fucking rock stars. You're there, man. You're like pounding it out. That's awesome.
Practically, yeah. We're rock stars, but nobody knows we're rock stars, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was cool. You're out in the Midwest, no family, no friends. Everybody's treating you like rock stars. You get home. Your mom's like, "Hey, take out the trash." Like, talking to
who are you? You realize we have a bus?
And everyone's like, your friends.
I'm not paying
like,
my bills, but I was just touring on a bus.
Making jokes about you. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Mark.
So if there was a tour, like any tour that you could jump on right now, is there any artist that you would just be like, you know what, we're out of here tomorrow to jump on that tour?
The Coheed and Cambria tour that's going on right
exactly.
now.
Yeah.
Wow.
With
I would love to play that.
For sure. For sure. Even my Chem's World Tour, dude. Like,
yeah.
Get me out of the country, dude. Let's go to Europe. I don't care. Like, let's go. We would love to play with a tour like that with Coheed or My Chem, or I'm sure like anything. I mean, Sad Summer would even be great too. I mean, like, our show's the same day as Sad Summer Fest in New York, so we got a little bit of competition. But even then, we're still gonna have a lot of fun. But I would tour Coheed in a heartbeat, dude. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mothica and Alkaline Trio. It's awesome.
That's there's so many great bands out there that I can see you guys meshing with as well on tour. And I got to ask the question again because it's funny when Kevin said it. So you said, you went out, you toured, people are rocking for you, and you get back, and mom says, take out the trash. And you're like, is there any point where, like, do you realize what we're doing? Is she like, I don't give a shit, take out the trash? Like, it doesn't, how into it is the family? Because family sport's huge. And I know, like, we kind of joke around though, but how much are your family behind you, your friends, etc.?
I think they're a big support system for what we do. They are the foundation. Um, as far as just spreading the word, they've always been there. So I think family has a big part of who we are and how we operate. Um, going over, our bassist's house, meeting his wife, and then, you know, in turn meeting Dentino's parents and hanging out with them and having full on conversations with them. And, even when my dad was, when me and my dad lived together, he was taking me to all the shows, bringing all the equipment, taking me to go get the guitar that I still play and rock on shows, the Explorer. He was super supportive. So I can't thank them enough for all the support that they've given me. So.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. I mean, basically, our rehearsal in a garage was my grandmother's garage at one point. So,
Wow.
in a sense, too, yeah, and it was just basically probably the most rewarding thing. We were so thankful, and we took it, and we didn't take it for granted. We used the opportunity to try to work as hard as we could. And I remember being almost 18, 19 years old. I'm playing at bars, and my mom's letting me call out of school the next day because she's she just wants me to keep playing, dude. That's the whole thing. So we've had a huge support, and especially with friends too. And the difference between the support, I think some people get a little salty about it. It's if you're there for support, that's fine. But I think musicians out there need to make an understanding that you can't. Nobody's obligated to go to your shows. If nobody's going to your shows, maybe people got work or people have other lives. We still have to do the whole ticket sale thing in this day and age, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. But if somebody can't make the show, I'm not going to harp on them. What I mean? They're still supporting whether they listen to it or share it or whatever. However it may be, whatever they do to support it, even if it's just sharing or just listening to the music and it gets the Spotify listens up, that's already enough. So we're very thankful and blessed for that whole situation.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, as far as my support, my brother, my friends still call me during the show. I'm like, don't call my phone. I'm in the middle of this. Don't you know?
And
Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
You're like, hey, I'm not going to be available during this. I'm like, wait, I got to tell you something. It's no, shut up. I'm trying to do my job.
I get the text. I get the score updates. I like the scores. I'll watch the game when this is over, but not, you know what I mean? Not during.
Love that.
Yeah, Phillies aren't good doing okay.
So what would you do with the money if you got a really supportive benefactor that gave you $10,000 for the band? How would you spend it?
Probably invest in a personal practice space, so that way that's relatively close to all of us. So that way we could get together more, within our busy schedules, write more, and just a place to really support our creative flow.
Damn, no, you're right. That's the best thing we could do. I'm thinking logically, what's the best thing? What's the best thing?
He's like tour bus.
No, absolutely not. We already did that once. You know what I mean? But dude, it's crazy. No, that makes sense because if we can get a rehearsal room where it's and we can get that live feature of when we're writing and rehearsing and it sounds just as good while we're playing it in that rehearsal room. A part to putting it into a live perspective, that's easily the best thing because the music comes first in the band, 100%. So that's definitely something we should do. $10K, that could last us what? Maybe over a year? You think? So
not if we're investing in the studio. That would go pretty quick.
Well, we better write that album fast then.
I tell you what, it goes to show the difference between dedicated artists and guys like me. Because when I heard $10,000 and getting famous, I'm like, going to the bar and buying shots for a ton of chicks because I'm a rock star. I got 10 grand. And you guys are like, yeah, we're going to create a studio. And I'm like, I'm embarrassed by myself.
Eventually,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of my favorite bands are bands like Rush. And Rush, they dedicated their, they really went out and jammed in a house for a little bit. That's how they wrote, all of moving pictures and stuff like that. So I look up to those guys. And if I were able to write an album half as good as that, I'd be stoked.
Right. Just with Motley Crue too. So we're in a different jet. I love Motley Crue, dude. Don't get me wrong. I can see them every day. I don't care how old they are. But I think we're in a different generation where we don't make as much money as it used to in the music industry. So I think we would just have to play it smart, unfortunately, until we get to that part where you're Post Malone, you know what, dude? I'm just going to bring a briefcase of $100 and just start handing out $100 to people just because.
Just because.
I like that. I'm going on the next Poeta tour, and I'm going to be having my hand out for my $100.
I was like, Jeff was there from the beginning. Jeff
You
and Mark
cannot-
were there from the beginning.
I'll take a free ticket. I mean, I'm easy. Free ticket, you buy me a drink. I'm there all night. I'm your man.
Oh, I got you on the next guest list. After
Oh,
Knitting
wow.
Factor, I got you on the next guest list for sure.
I like it because we're definitely, like I said, we're ready to get back out. We were big concert goers, and myself and Jewel does a show with me on Tuesday nights. Love getting to shows. My wife's a big show fan, and I'm telling you, you guys are the kind of band that she would absolutely love too. And I'm sure she's watching out there or will watch later. So we would love to check you guys out, definitely. Marcy, anything else for the guys? I know there's lots of questions to go. Keep going. Get in there.
This is a question I've been waiting to ask you. So I watched one of your other podcasts, and you were talking about, Rush, and you were talking about AC/DC and Tool. And I thought that was so entertaining. It was just 25, 30 minutes of you guys just ripping on some bands and saying how much you admire the other ones. And so this morning I was thinking of a band that I think is brilliant. I mean, the musicians are pretty, everybody holds them in pretty high esteem, but the vocals, I love them, but I know they're not everybody's cup of tea. So I wanted to find out, what do you guys think about the Scorpions?
Scorpions.
Love the
I don't know. Well, first of all, I appreciate you doing all the research because honestly, what you just saw in that podcast was literally what we do on a daily basis.
I loved it.
It was so fun. I know that's just who we are. We do it all the time, public or behind closed doors. Doesn't matter. The Scorpions.
As far as the Scorpions, I'll leave it at this. If it was on, I wouldn't tell somebody to shut it off.
True. I also personally wouldn't put it on.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't put the band on. If it's playing at a dive bar, I don't know, Murphy's Beef and Ale, I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Shout out to Murphy's. Yeah, dude. If that was playing, I'd be like, whatever, dude. I don't care. Someone's gonna play that, and then someone's gonna play Tool next. But I'm not gonna turn it off. It's good music regardless.
You mentioned Murphy's Beef and Ale, and of course, it's one of our great places too. The whole gang there, Sean and Angela and Alfredo and all that gang. Is there ever a chance you guys maybe taking the upstairs room and laying out some tunes one night, little live show?
Yeah, I talked to Sean. He's giving me an opportunity to do an emo night there.
Really? Awesome.
I haven't figured out the date yet, but we're working for September. If I can get the bands and I can get everybody put together within the next couple of weeks, I think we can throw a massive festival there. And I appreciate him and the opportunity that he's giving me to do this. So he's basically here, George, here's your one shot, do it. And hopefully we can make, the bar a lot of money, and everybody that plays a show and DJs, I'll be the DJ for the night. Everybody gets paid a little bit, has a good time. So yeah, I would look for September. God forbid if it doesn't work, hopefully November or something when it's slow.
Okay, that's awesome because I kicked around the idea a lot, and it's always a little bit scary because you got to go out and get all these bands and then put them on the stage and make sure people come. But if you need help or some band names, we could throw some at you from people who've been on this show. Some great bands I think that people would love, stuff that's won't steal your thunder because you guys are the highlight.
I appreciate it. Nah, dude, just DM me. We'll talk, and we'll and maybe we'll just have a beer at Murphy's to talk about it. But basically, it's really hard to even get some bands even months out in advance.
Sure.
It's just not the easiest thing. This is why I don't like booking. I remember why I do social media and I don't book shows.
No, I feel you. I absolutely
social media at full control. But yeah, we might be doing that at Murphy's. It's not said and done yet, but we might be doing something for sure.
I'd love that. I've done a lot of stuff at Murphy's. I did their taco eating contest. I did their Bloody Mary contest. That's my home away from home. It's a very unique atmosphere with, and people are like, it's a hard place. It's a corner bar, but it's family, man. Everybody there kind of loves each other.
It's family. Yeah.
It really is, man. And my wife might be there tonight because she was going to Gleason's for guest bartending spot, see one of her friends. Afterwards, we're going to go to Murphy's. So she'll come home pretty drunk, I'm sure.
So where are all these places that?
So
Murphy's is in Bucks County.
Bucks County. Yeah.
Bucks County. Okay.
Very close to me.
I'm not that far from Bucks County. Not that far.
You'll be coming out to this great show. We absolutely can't wait. So it's every band, we always ask bands this question, and the answer is usually the same, but we ask anyway. how many songs do you have just sitting here waiting to get put out into another album or something of that nature? Speaking of devil, there's my wife. She's probably at Murphy's as we speak. Hello there.
Hi.
The guys are talking about a night at Murphy's performance, so get ready. So, like, how many songs you got saved? Because every band's like, oh, we got songs that we wrote years ago that are just kind of sitting there.
I don't think we have songs in the wings. We have parts. So we have like a part that we might be holding on to, or something that we haven't been able to think of, and maybe something new that comes out, or a new record that our favorite band puts out influences whatever we couldn't find previously. So we try not to bring back some old songs most of the time. I know we talked about Glorious, but that was something like, for example, the chorus was just something Anthony couldn't let go. So we tend to carry over parts more than full songs, because the full song thing tends to change a lot. So we could have a part that we like, write a full song. A month later, we'll be like, scrap it, and George gets really mad, and then we start over again. So
wrong, so
yeah,
like,
that's fine.
It's got to be tough being that creative, though, because there's so many moving pieces that do everything so well. And I could never be part of a band because I would headbutt with everybody, because I think my ideas are great, and then somebody gets a better idea, and I'm like, no. So
Well, they're so thankful that I get distracted and they put me in a corner and do social media, because before we just had nothing. We were just in the garage. I'm like, when are we getting out of this garage? And like, it took a while, but now that we're here, they're like, yeah, George, keep making TikToks and stuff. I'm like having the best time of my life, and they're like, oh, we're gonna rewrite this and structure this, and I get distracted, so it's good.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Marcy, anything? I know you got tons. Get in there.
is there something that you guys have always wanted to do with the band, but you haven't had a chance to do it yet? And you haven't had a chance to tell anybody, but you want to share it with us first?
Ooh, I love groundbreaking stuff.
This is like the best question stuff ever. Actually, should we expose like what we just came back from? Is that something that
I guess,
we
yeah,
could-
it's in the works. Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you go ahead.
So
You go,
basically,
Giannis, what is your thing?
we partnered up. George had mentioned that he had a bunch of grain on his shirt, and he just came back from Red Tank Brewing. We partnered up with them to collaborate on an Oktoberfest for the release of our album. So we're going to do an album release show there September 3rd, which is a Saturday. We're still looking into finalizing some things there, but yeah, everything's in the works for a Poeta beer, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we thank Red Tank very much for doing that. That's hats off to them, and we appreciate everything that Tom does for us. He's the bassist in a band called Wavebreak, and he does an amazing job with everything that he does for the community and the scene. So yeah, that's some stuff that we got on the horizon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
I will
cool.
definitely be getting my own 4-pack or however much it is. I'm not opening it or drinking it. And then there will be some where I will drink, but it's going to sit on my shelf forever. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done, that we've ever done.
I got to tell you, and I say this respectfully to anybody that watches the show and to you guys, I'm a straight, married, heterosexual male. I feel like you guys are seducing me. You're making her an Oktoberfest. We're having this show. I feel like seduced. Like I got.
Oh, also to put the cherry on top,
Uh-oh.
the album will drop, I believe, September 8th. But if you come to the show and you get the exclusive can, there's a QR scan code that you'll be able to hear the album early.
Yeah.
So
I'm
we
gonna go.
highly suggest that you come out to the brewery and have a good time with us, sing a bunch of songs.
Yeah,
and
it's
have a lot of
literally a
beer.
free show, man. It's literally just walk in, have fun, drink
Wow.
beer, eat food down the street, and just like hang out. It's going to be one of the coolest things we've ever done as a band, for sure.
Yeah, if my wife is still watching, I'm going on tour with Poeta. I'm out. See ya. Pay the bills. I'll be back.
Wait, I want to go too. I want to be like a merch girl or something. You can't go
Oh
with
yeah,
That's
let's
amazing.
Go.
Yes.
Let's go. I mean,
Yes.
if we're in a van, it's not gonna smell the best for sure. So I mean, just
Yeah.
be aware of that.
It's absolutely awesome. And, I've run the scroll down the bottom so people who watch, like I see, either live or they come in for the replay. You can find Poeta all over the place, man. Instagram at Poeta Band, Facebook at Poeta, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify. Their music is all over the place. Beacons.ai Poeta Band brings you to the website. And this Friday night, live for people in the New York area, Brooklyn, New York, at the Knitting Factory. Sounds pretty cool. How's New York? Because gives New York a tough rap? How great is playing New York?
We've only played
It's a hit or
2
miss.
venues. Yeah, it really is. Our first show
It's
as
a
a
hit or
band was
miss.
in New York, but that was at the Webster Hall. The second one was actually this is in Brooklyn, so I thoroughly enjoyed the Brooklyn show more than I did in the one in actually downtown New York.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely hit or miss. It depends on what area you're in, what the vibe's like. Because there's definitely like little clicks. You know what I mean? That so, if for example, if you're in an area that's there's a lot of like folk music or whatever, a
Yeah.
band like us might not fit into that crowd very much. So stuff like that.
You don't
Yeah.
need that crowd. You need the rock crowd. We're here for you, brother.
We do, dude. That show's gonna
But
be
we would
super
gladly
rock and
play
roll.
an acoustic set for that crowd.
For
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Down for that as well.
Pull that component away.
Marcy, anything in parting?
Do you guys prefer like indoor shows or outdoor shows?
Oh, that's good.
Depends on the sound person.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah, that's really what it comes down
I mean,
to.
in
matter
a
where
perfect
I'm
situation where the sound is equal.
It depends on it depends on the sound engineer because we played outdoor shows where it was a little same thing with indoor, but like Warped Tour, cake every day, like best show.
Yeah,
ever,
I guess if everything was under perfect circumstances, like I would definitely prefer to play like Red Rocks Amphitheater over like Madison Square Garden, just because the view and the vibe and that sunset while you're playing, that's killer. You know what I mean? But
yeah, and
that's
nobody's sober.
Yeah.
That's a big key to it. It absolutely is. So I absolutely, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming on. We reached that 30-minute limit. We don't like to keep everybody hanging too long. So we'd love to invite you back, whether Tuesday night, Wednesday night, whatever, when the stuff gets cooking. We definitely want to get out to these shows, and my co-host Jewel on Tuesday nights will be out to it as well. So we got a supporting cast. Will come out and party with you guys, drink, listen to music, go nuts. So very cool.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you for joining
we
us.
appreciate it.
Yeah, somebody chimed in late there, right? At the last minute.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, girl? But
They're
yeah,
supposed to be blasting you guys. Your fans are supposed to be blasting tonight in the comment section.
come out, everybody listening and watching, come out to Red Tank Brewery on September 3rd on a Saturday. It's free admission and drink some Poeta beer. Let's just hang out and just rock and roll and dance.
I'm writing it
Marcy's
down.
gonna start the Stella dance. That's her
Yeah.
role, dude. She's gonna start the Stella dance.
There she goes. She's got the dance down to science. September 3rd. Oh my God. I think I'm actually in Nashville that weekend. I am. Oh, now I'm miserable.
Oh, it's okay. We'll hold it off. We'll be working for your schedule for sure.
Just save me
We'll
a
get you a
4-pack.
4-pack. That's it.
Yeah, that's
I
what
got
I
you
want.
there.
I got all kind of beers I collect. I collect that Eagles, No One Likes Us, We Don't Care beers, and
From Broken Goblet.
Yeah, so I'm a collector. I'm a big beer enthusiast. So
I'm digging the pops behind you, dude. My
Thanks.
guy Shane is a huge pop collector. He's a regular at Murphy's and he's a fry cook now, so he's chill, dude. He's got a lot of stuff. But yeah, man, like I got my August Burns beer or August Burns red beer. I already drank all that, and then I still have my Monster Tour water from Tour. I haven't opened that. It's just literally water in a Monster Energy can. It's the weirdest thing ever.
I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for the beer. I'm definitely excited for the future of your music because you're the kind of guys, the conversation, perfect. Guys are very intellectual, know exactly what you want and what you need in the business. When I say intellectual, I mean about your project, and that's what it needs, man. We need more people who are so dedicated to it, love it, and speak true about it. I can honestly probably sit here till midnight, but, we'll do what we do here. Again, I'm going to read through everything again real quick. Don't forget, if you're in the Brooklyn, New York area, the Knitting Factory this Friday night. You can check out Poeta live. If you're in Bucks County, sometime soon, I'm going to watch them at Murphy's. I'm going to be there. Again, Instagram at Poeta Band, Facebook at Poeta. Guys, Kevin Torres, George Powell, would like to invite you back again real soon. Thanks so much for coming on. And you guys have a great night and keep kicking ass, dude.
You too. We appreciate the both of you. Thank you for having us.
All right. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
I got to tell you, the best part about this all is meeting these new bands. And Marcy, like I said, I know you're new to how we do it on the Yo Show, and you've watched, which is awesome, and we appreciate it. You've watched and kind of checked it out. And yeah, I'm definitely down for that. I'm definitely down for Murphy's. So, how does it feel to watch these guys? Like I said, 'cause I know you get into singing, and I know you're big into music. How does it feel to watch guys and get their advice and hear and does it motivate you? Does it move you? Like, what kind of vibe do you get off bands? You know, when you get to chat with them in this kind of atmosphere.
So I would have to say at least 75% of my friends are musicians because I love them. They're so creative, and we can definitely, bounce ideas off of each other, and because I majored in music and I spent so much of my life around music, like, I get it, So I can't think of any place I'd rather be most of the time than hanging out with my musician friends or at some kind of rock festival or, working with a musician on the song or being in a video. Like my whole life is pretty much it's just surrounded by music. Like I love picking people's brain. Like I love hearing about how a band, writes a song. A lot of the stuff I can really relate to, so it's always a good experience, and obviously, each person's going to have, like a little different experience, like they were talking about, the festivals they did and the tours they did. And that's always exciting to get a little insight, a little backstage peek, at what's
Sure.
going on. So, I cherish every moment, that I have to pick somebody's brain and hear their story. And it's just the enthusiasm, like the light that shines in their eyes when they're
Yeah.
talking about something that they created. It's priceless, It really.
Absolutely. I agree. And that's a great word for it. And sometimes I find myself a little bit guilty of when you get the guests, it's just give us a half hour of your time or chat for a half hour, and that half hour flies by, and I'm like, well, leave. I got so much more to talk about. Like you said, getting all the inside, and they shared some inside scoop with us, and it's just awesome stuff. And they're great guys, and they deserve it. And like I said, a little bit of work is all it takes. And Marcy, I see you on social media. You put yourself out there, and you do the YouTube videos, which are great. And social media makes it a little bit easier. But I'm going to tell you, as you will know, and I will know, and Jewel knows, and the guys from Poeta, a lot of people will know. Even though social media makes it easier, it's still a lot of hard work because you've got to get something that grabs people, and you've got to get something that holds people, and you have to show true dedication. Like people are like, oh, I love your show because you seem like you're really into it. Of course I am. You know why? This is me. This is how I act. This is how you're going to see me on the street. So I bring that to you. I bring my personality, and I have fun with it, but it doesn't mean it's easy, as you'll know.
Well, the beauty of social media, at least what I've found, is that you can reach so many people that you wouldn't ordinarily on a day-to-day basis. Like if it wasn't for social media, we would have never crossed paths. Like I've met so many people over the last year that I've had my Instagram page, people that I would never have imagined. Like some people that like I was a fan of when I was a child,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's incredible. I'm a big fan of social media. I know a lot of people aren't, and I even did one episode on my YouTube show, 5 Minutes with Marcy Rockergirl, where I talk about social media, and that episode was really geared towards people who haven't quite taken a liking to it yet, because I know a lot of musicians who just don't like social media at all. Just talking about the good points, what it can do, not just for your career, but just widen your social network, just finding people you can relate to and you can bounce ideas off of. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of social media, and I'm not very good at it. I mean, I'm okay with talking to people, but we talked earlier about the technical end of things. I'm not that great with that yet, but I try to be a social person. I try to meet and say hi to as many people as possible, and I just love people. So social media, I just think it's a great thing, and I try to look at all the positives that it can bring into your life like expands in your network. I mean, obviously, it's a lot of hard work. Like I did another portion of my episode of 5 Minutes with Marcy Rockergirl, where I talk about, the ways to expand, your social media presence. And basically, you've got to put yourself out there. You can't just plop a profile on social media and say, I'm here, and expect, 10,000 people to view it in one day. You've really got to go out, you got to reach out to people, you have to show some love and some support for what they're doing. You have to actively engage, so I mean that's another aspect, time, and the more platforms you have, the harder it is to give each one, the proper amount of time and love and attention that it really needs, to grow.
I agree, and that's exactly right. And I look at your YouTube and I watch your videos, and there's like hundreds of people that view. And if you're out there and you're thinking hundreds, that's a big number on YouTube, because a lot of people that watch on YouTube are just kind of scrolling and saying, let me watch something interesting. Like, okay, let's see what she has to say. And they like it enough that they keep watching. And I love YouTube. I know like Facebook, people will say, oh, there's Jeff, he's on, let me see what he's saying. And there's Marcy, she's on, let me hear what they're saying. But YouTube, people actually have to find you, and then they find you and they engage in your program, and you're like, that's pretty special. And we've had some episodes with thousands of people on YouTube that have watched. Of course, you get some that 20, 50 people, whatever, but still, it's big because you're out there and you don't know where these people are. They could be nationwide watching you anywhere, and you don't know what they're involved in, or if they have somebody with connections like, hey, these people are pretty good at what they do and how they talk. Let's get them some huge contract and giving out $100 bills at Poeta concerts.
Well, my YouTube is really new. It's only like a month old. So, every day I'm working and I'm editing new videos, and I will say, check it out, now, and look at it again a year from now. It's gonna be even bigger, and I'm just coming up with topics and ideas, and I can't wait to reach everybody out there and give them advice from Marcy Rockergirl.
I love it. I love some of the topics. You talk about stuff that I like talking about here too, like you said, relationships and the ins and outs of social media. And there's people who, let's face it, there's people that abuse social media. They take it as their strength to say obnoxious stuff. And there's the people that aren't there for the right reason. People like you, me, the guys from Poeta, Jewel, etc. There's people out there for the right reason, and that's, hey, let me bring some kind of sunshine into your day. Let me bring you a talent. Let me bring you some jokes. Let me bring you something silly. And to me, that's the right path. I mean, people are always going to be on a right and wrong path. But you and I and people like that who are dedicated to it, who feel it like deep in your gut, that's the kind of people you want to watch.
I mean, I always try to spread the love. So, if I'm on any platform and I'm seeing, there's a little tension, or there's cat fights, or there's somebody trying to be a little bit mean to the other person, I try to step in and spread a little love and a little sunshine, because basically there's enough negativity out there in the world. We don't need any more, like I try to support people. I try to lift them up, and I will never make a comment unless it's a positive one, like it's going to be something positive. I mean, it'll be, I like that shirt, or, you are rocking that selfie, or I love that song. Like, I will never reach out to somebody with a negative comment, because I feel as though, it's not needed. We're here to embrace and support each other. And that's what we should be doing all the time.
And I agree, and I think of that because, like, even with Jewel, and I tell this story, and Jewel always like tells me to kill the story. But one night we were all hanging out. It was my wife and Jewel and her family, and we were at a bowling alley, and her phone just kept blowing up. I'm like, what's going on here? And I look at her social media, and it's guys doing nasty stuff on her phone, and guys saying nasty shit. And she's like, all day. They see my face and feel they have the right to do it. So I grabbed the phone. I'm like, all right, dude, like, you're talking to a dude now. What do you want to say? Grow up, people. It's not a dating site. It's not a pervert site. It's not a porn site. Behave yourselves.
I mean, I don't get a whole lot of that. I mean, I've gotten some people who are like, but I think they did it mostly with respect, and they're like, do you have an OnlyFans site? And I just politely saying, no, I don't. I don't have one. I mean, I've gotten a few rude comments, but not that many. Most people who are making, those kind of comments are trying to ask me out for a date poorly, but they're trying to be nice in their own little way. So I've been mostly lucky. Like I said, anybody who's public, you're gonna have, somebody with negativity or somebody who's saying things that aren't quite, G or PG-13,
Yeah,
But so that kind of just comes with the territory, unfortunately. But for me, I would say mostly people are extremely nice and kind and respectful, and I try to give the same, thing back that I'm getting, the same positive vibes.
Yeah, and you've always been you and I, when we do interact with comments, etc., have always been very respectful to each other, and that's why I absolutely wanted to have you on and have a chance to chat and have a good time, and like I said, get your feel on music, etc. But like, when it comes to OnlyFans, I gotta be honest. If women want to pay $15 a month to watch me walk around in my underwear, let's do it. I will dance, trot, sideways.
No. You said you were married. Did you shoot this by your wife first to see what she thought about it?
She knows nobody will pay for it, so she's not worried about it. She's like, yeah, go ahead. Ain't nobody paying to see you in your underwear. So.
Oh, come on. You're going to tell me fans of this show wouldn't be curious if you saw him and saw his page? There's people out there that would be curious.
I gotta tell you, never thought of it that way.
I'm not suggesting you do it. I'm not trying to cause any problems there, You pull out that list and you've got like 1,000 subscribers the first month. I mean, you never know.
1001, you get it for free because you're PRing it right now. You're my public relations person for Jeff on OnlyFans. It was just me with nothing but a Slipknot shirt. But I feel you, that's a lot. And people ask because obviously they want to see. I get it. We know the sexuality of women. Men messes me in the past. I haven't really done it anymore since I talk about it a lot on the show. But in the past, like, what's up with Jewel? She's hot. Let's see Jewel do this and that. No, let's not. Let's watch the show. And if we're all out one night and you meet her and she likes what you got to say, then, yeah, then make that kind of connection. But don't come to my show trying to make a love connection, man. I'm not here trying to hook up any guy. No.
Yeah, but you know what I think is funny? I mean, I haven't seen, like, all of your shows with Jewel, so I don't know how much of her personal life she puts out there. But I know for me, I get a lot of people inboxing me. And what I usually say to them is I usually say, dude, you're saying all this stuff. They're like, oh, I want to take you out to dinner and all this. Dude, you don't even know if I'm single. You're saying, like, you're like, why won't you go out with me? Dude, you don't know anything about me,
Right? You don't even know if this...
I think it'd be like right behind my shoulder, like reading this text. Oh, this is what you text him back.
Right. Like, you don't even know if this video is being shot in prison. Like, I might be behind bars right now.
Right, it's true. It's like they see me on social media, and it's like they have this image of who I am, and like it's not really based on a whole lot, but a bunch of pictures and a smiley face. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I decided to do YouTube in 5 minutes with Marcy Rockergirl. And it's like most of the episodes are based on stuff that I wanted to talk about anyway through DM. So instead of that, I literally just make these episodes, I throw them out on YouTube, and then when I get some DMs, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Before you ask me another question, maybe you should take a look at this. And it's funny, they're like, oh my God, like I'm literally talking about that topic, And then one guy said to me, he was like, oh my God, that's so scary. Yeah, it's so scary that you said everything that's on my don't list, So what I usually tell people people, like, if you really want to know who I am, watch my podcast. I am 100% me. You want to know who I am, go to my YouTube channel. That's me, uncensored, unfiltered, like just talking about a topic. Like, don't make up in your head, I'm this person. If you want to know who I am, I'll tell you who I am. I'll show you who I am. So kind of like, I don't know. I'm really like a big fan of my own show. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's so much fun shooting the episode and editing the videos. Like, I love everything about it. Like, I just have so much fun doing it. And like, I'm glad that there's people out there that enjoy it too, because I know that I love it. It's a lot of work. I love it.
It is a lot of work, but that's great though. And that's the positive attitude. That's why I try to do like a Wednesday night thing, because I know Jewel can't be here on Wednesday nights. I said, look, I'm going to bring in different guest co-hosts, people from all different walks who believe in different things and like different things and listen to different things. For that reason, you have a show, you're proud of it. Come on. And our people that watch, like, hey, let me check out 5 Minutes with Marcy. Next thing you know, they're watching, and vice versa. Like, your friends might say, well, let me see, she was on this Yo-Show thing, and they're like, all right, that guy in the Slipknot shirt, he's a loud-mouthed, obnoxious jerk. I'm never watching this show again. But you take a shot at it, at least.
Now, my followers, they love when I'm on a podcast, and they really do follow it, and they show it some love, and they're always asking me, when are you going to host another podcast? When are you going to be, a guest? So yeah, my followers, they totally love it, and they'll totally love this show. They'll be like, this show is awesome. It rocks. We love that guy in the Slipknot shirt. He's amazing, and they may even subscribe to your OnlyFans. Maybe.
Whoa.
No guarantee, but maybe.
Got a little leg coming at it. I'm in shorts. Yeah, I usually don't show my bottom half, because I usually wear like some obnoxious pair of shorts I should have thrown out 20 years ago to be comfortable. But I agree. I mean, there's definitely great avenues of it. I love what you're doing with yours. Keep up the great work. And some people say, well, because we usually do an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's too long. It's not really, because we put in so much segments, and like last night we did the Funko Pop box opening, and people thought that was really cool. We had the bands on, and we play songs, and we do lists and stuff like that. So it's always very cool. And like I said, you never know who's watching. Like, we got, and I know if you watched the show last night, and for those who did, this band right here, they're coming on the program, Mojo Moji. Now, here's what's wild about it. They found us. He messaged me, and they're former members of Collective Soul, and guys that toured with Scott Weiland's band and another guy. Like, Collective Soul, like, it's a big deal. Two founding members. Right? That's huge. And they found us, like, hey, we want to be on the show. Absolutely awesome. And same thing with, I keep bragging, Hollywood Gods and Monsters, right? They're going to be on our program in a couple weeks. And now this is a big-time band. It's Travis, of course, formerly of Steel Panther, and Diggity Dave Aragon, and local Rachel Bellow. So there's a lot of great artists in there. And their PR people said, look, we love your show. We'd love the support you give to our band. Let's have them on. This is a pretty big deal. And that's what you get. I mean, the more love you show, like you said, show love, show support, get into people, and people will come back at you.
So I have a question for you. What band or artist would have to come on your show to get you to sing on the air? Like if a certain band came on your show and they're like, you know what, I want you to sing back up right now. What band would that have to be to get you to perform live for us?
Wow. That is such a great question, and I will go. God, it's gotta be the surviving members of Alice in Chains. That's like my band. Then, or Guns N' Roses, of course. Guns N' Roses. I mean, forget it. I can't sing like Slipknot. Like I can't go. So that's.
But you are. You just did it.
Yeah, that's not very good, though. Trust me. That's definitely.
You sound exactly like him. Like I'm rooting for you. Yeah, you fit right in there. Right in there.
Meanwhile, I'm going to the hospital with a sore throat, and they do it like 360 days a year. But like a couple of times, me and Jewel have fooled around and have kind of sang on the air, and we've had people sing to me. Like we had an awesome band, Kaleido, and their lead singer, Christina Chris, came on. She's beautiful and fun, and we had a great time. She came on for my birthday show with like 2 days' notice because we had somebody drop out. and she comes on and she sings "Happy Birthday" to me. I'm gushing because she's gorgeous and all that great stuff. But I could sing along with people like that. I love that.
No, I mean that's great. I mean, I don't know if I would do any singing on the show, but I'm glad that you are okay.
And,
That's really good.
I have said before, I will do just about anything to get a rise out of people. When I do this 2.0 show, some nights Angela comes on with me, and Angela has picked an episode, the first episode we did together, and she said if 1,000 people view it on YouTube, I have to go in public on the show and get my ass waxed. And you know what? If people will watch, if 1,000 people will watch it, rip me up. Who gives a shit, man?
I mean, I all my followers, you need to watch this show. We want to see that. Okay. Like I personally want to see it. I think you should save it for your OnlyFans, but I'm just saying. Like it would be nice to spread it, to show it to everybody, because we'd all like to see it, but
You realize as we speak, my wife's probably on OnlyFans looking up any kind of name that could be me. Jeff P, Jeff Yosho, Jeff this, that, the other things. Like, that son of a bitch doesn't know.
no.
Do not.
We would put it at the bottom of the screen. We want to make sure people know exactly where you are.
If I'm right, if I had it, it would be scrolling. Try. Oh
I mean, you're getting your butt waxed. I mean, the most I'm doing is doing a little dance.
You can do like. We'll lay the table out. I'll be getting my ass waxed. And you just do a little dance in the background while they're waxing me. God, the pain I can't imagine. I heard, and
I mean, have you ever gotten anything waxed at all?
No.
Well, I'll give you a little, which is a terrible story. I think it's a terrible story. So
I'm gonna cringe.
I used to get my eyebrows waxed. Okay, and the first time you get your eyebrows waxed, it's kind of like when you first get your tattoo. Like it's gonna hurt, but you're not sure how much. Okay, and what I learned about waxing is the more hair you have, the worse it is. So once you get it waxed and you only have the little hairs, it's not that bad. Okay, but one day I decided that I was gonna get a little more wax. So I'm like, you know what? I got a little hair on my chin. I get my chin waxed. Nothing. Okay.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? I got these little dots right here. So I'm gonna get my little mustache waxed. Let me tell you, when she just did one side, when she pulled that, I swear, my fist almost went up and knocked her out. Like it hurt. And I have a tattoo.
Yeah.
It hurt. So I can't even describe how much it hurt. And here's the scary part. She'd only done one side. So one side was totally smooth, which means I had to stay still for the other side, or I would look totally ridiculous. And it hurt. Tears formed in the corner of my eyes. Okay. So what was that called? The 40-year-old virgin?
Yeah, 40-year-old virgin. Oh yeah.
He got all of that hair. Like I don't even want to know how bad that would hurt in real life because he had lots of hair. Okay. And he never got waxed before. So theoretically, that would be worse than my little tiny chin hairs, okay? Like, and my little, mustache hairs. Like, that would be the ultimate in pain, okay? So yeah, you getting waxed, I don't know.
It's gonna hurt, man.
We might have to have the ambulance on standby.
Okay.
And just like roll your bed straight in the back after they finish pulling, because that's gonna be painful.
I've heard these horror stories, and I forget the name of it, but guys were saying like when they go from and my wife hates when I say this on the air, but when they go from balls like ball sack to butt crack right up like bounce. Oh my god, man. Like the balls are pretty sensitive, I'm not gonna lie. That makes me cringe.
I mean, I wouldn't know anything about it, but I'm gonna take your word for it, okay?
Trust me, very, very sensitive. So the guys out there that watch tonight and want to DM Marcy about dates, remember she gets these little hairs.
I heard it was sexy. I mean, guys love to massage the little hairs on my face, so I'm guessing it's sexy,
I give you that. You definitely got the sexy, and that's and it helps. It does help sell. I don't care what anybody says. It does help sell a little bit, but that's okay. But like as long as people use it the right way, and not you, like use who you are, use how God made you. but respect who she is as a person because there's a brain up there, you know. There's feelings. It's not just hey look hot, let me blank blank with my blank blank blank. Yeah, we get it. We know how it goes. Let's keep it light.
But there's like so many aspects to my personality. There's like so many things that nobody knows about me. And you know what? Maybe in future episodes of my YouTube channel, I'm going to expose some of those things in different topics, But I mean, there's, I'm more than just a girl,
Right.
There's a whole bunch of stuff going on up here in this brain.
I like it, and that's and I'm gonna keep shamelessly make sure you subscribe 5 minutes of Marcy Rockergirl on YouTube. But I've always been, and my friends laugh at me, my family laughs at me. I have always been about a woman's intelligence. My wife is a nurse and well educated, and she's fun and a little wild, like every girl gets to be, but you can have a conversation. You could talk in depth, like we're doing tonight, me and you, and like me and Jewel do. And before I got Jewel, I had two girls who wanted to do it because I reached out for female, and it was very cupcake. It's just in talking to them was very like, oh, I look like this. Yeah, I need substance, man. No offense, I need a little substance to talk and bring stuff out. Like you talk about your music and your show and your topics and yeah, man, stimulate my mind first. My body, that'll stimulate itself. Stimulate my mind a little bit.
Well, the thing about me is I'm kind of half girly girl because I am totally girly girl. Like I love mini skirts and nails and makeup and girly girl. But I'm also half tomboy. Like I love like sports and I used to love beer, not so much anymore, but I am going to try the band's new beer.
Yes, I'm going to Poeta beer.
I've got to try that. But I love men. Like I love hanging out with them and picking their. Like I could be in like a table with like 12 guys drinking some beer. And I find that like guys are just so honest and silly and fun, whereas women are cool. I love my girls, but sometimes they kind of are like more in their head where guys just don't care,
No.
They just whatever, say whatever. And you know what I love about guys? I love how guys like tease each other. Like guys just
yes.
outrageous and they're cool with it. Nobody takes offense, and they pull pranks on each other and it's fun, it's lighthearted. So like I love hanging out and talking to guys, and I just think they're a lot of fun. When they're not hitting on me, okay? When they're not hitting on me, they're a lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun. They can be fun when they're hitting on you if they're clever. There's some clever ones out there to say good things. There's some absolute morons who should never speak to women in their entire life.
Sorry.
I mean, I've been around and I hear some of the things that and you see the Facebook comments. Again, no disrespect, man, but you see the comments like you'll put a picture up and your girls will be like, great picture, Marcy. Looking good, Marcy. Looking great today, Marcy. Well, you are a babe, Marcy. Thanks, bro. Like, okay. Wow, what a great pickup line.
I personally, I don't like flirting and pickup lines. I'm the kind of girl, I'm like, keep it real with me, okay? Don't with the, I was just flirting. No, just be real. Say, you know what? That's a nice outfit. And I'll say, you know what? Thank you so much. And that's it, no baby, honey, sugar pie, dumpling. No, none of that, Just keep it real. Just treat me like a regular human being,
I like that. When I met my wife, I actually knew my wife from years past before we re-linked. And the night I met her, she was waitressing to get through college at a restaurant, and it was Thanksgiving. My parents like to go out for Thanksgiving, so we went out for Thanksgiving. She was our waitress. She said her name. I'm like, I remember that name, and I remembered her. And she even says, like, dude, I was hungover from the night before. My hair's all bundled up, and like I look like crap. And here you are, like, more or less like checking me out. Played it cool, went to the bathroom, came back. My mom was hooking it up. My mom's like, my son's single. I can tell my son likes you, and like doing the whole 9 yards.
Oh, so cute.
It was very cute, and she was was cool, and I just liked the way she was. And then our first date was at the Iron Abbey Brewery, where we drank, acted silly, had some grub. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna eat a salad because I feel funny. Like, she was eating and getting down, and like, I like that. I like hanging out with females, and especially her. And like I said, like when Jewel comes out with us, like hang out with females. Females are definitely different than dudes. Dudes
Yeah.
are always on the prowl. Dudes always have like, oh, I got to meet this chick, or I got to drink this certain way. I got to make a spectacle of myself. And women are just like, all right, let's have a good time here, and let's kind of people watch and chill.
So let me ask you this. So when you saw her again, did you like her messy hair? Or did you not notice it was messy because
I didn't even notice.
her eyes and you were like, oh, she's so beautiful.
She has, I don't know how much research you've done. I know you're a researcher. If you research her, she has just, and yeah, I'm going to say, because people are like, oh, you're always so perverted on the show, and you talk about all these other women. Now, I'm going to come right out and say, my wife has these electric blue eyes that just kind of pierce you. And they did. And I looked, I'm like, and I'm staring, and like everybody's ordering dinner, and I was like, yeah, look at those blue eyes. But here's a funny little story I'll give you. We talk about social media. At the end of dinner, when it seems like we made a connection, I'm like, hey, can I call you sometime? She says, I'm going to tell her, and I hope she's watching, or I hope she watches the replay. She says, why don't you look me up on Facebook and message me?
Oh, really? After
brother-
having a great first date, that's what she said?
No, not the first date. That was the first night we met when she was waiting.
Oh, that was the first night. So she wouldn't give you her number. That's what you're saying.
My brother was like, dude, you just got shot down. I'm like, wow. Look me up on Facebook.
You could just see how much you really liked her. Like, was she worth pursuing in your mind?
I mean, but look at all this. I mean, I'm an Adonis. It does really start.
Oh, yeah. How long have you been married again?
We've been married. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, we've been married over 5 years. 5 years. Yeah, 2007. Wow, 5 years. Holy Jesus. Where's the time? We've been together for close to 11 years. And
how long did it take you before you knew she was the one?
First night, because she let me hit it. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, she didn't? No, she didn't. I don't believe that she went from check me out on Facebook to you can hit this. No way. Well, that's smooth. I don't believe that at all.
No, we like I said, it took maybe like the first date was great. The second time hanging out was a little less like lower key, but it was clicking because like I said, it was a great companionship to hang out with. She was fun, and then she would bring her sister with her, and her sister was a lot of fun, and we'd always have a great time. And then they came over one night. This is when I knew it was meant to be. They came over one night. I smoked a little bit of this, and we all had some booze, and we were getting very loud, and the cops showed up, and that's when I knew, like, yeah, that's when I knew.
No, you're joking about the cops, right?
We lived in an apartment at the time, and the neighbor upstairs heard us being so loud, and the police knock on the door. They ring the doorbell.
Why didn't they just knock on the door and say something instead of call the police?
Right. Well, yeah. So the police ring the bell, and Genius Me goes down the steps. I open the door, and I said, yeah, I knew it was you. And the cop said, what did you just say? I'm like, oh, I figured somebody called the police. He's like, what's going on there? I heard there's a fight. People being loud. I'm like, no. I said, no, there's no fight, but we were that loud. I said it's my girlfriend and her sister. The sister came in from out of town. They haven't seen each other in years. They're laughing. I said, honestly, we're drinking. We're getting ripped. I said, no doubt about it. They put the flashlight on. Said, any drugs? No drugs. Even though I was smoking my ass off. No drugs, officer. Just some drinks, some tequila. And then Genius Me says, you guys want to come up?
No. They said no, right?
Yeah, they're like, no, we're good. We trust you as long as you say you're okay. I'm like, dude, I said, if there was a fight, I'd be covered in blood. I said, that's how wild they are. So we're just having a good time. And yeah, it was that point. I said, yeah, that's my girl. Oh yeah.
So wait, who kissed who first, or was it just like you ended up together like that?
I'm pretty sure I kissed first.
Aww.
And she's so slick. So instead of being the first one to say I love you, she used to say I hate you. And it was her like, and I'm like, what? She goes, well, we'll get to that. So down the road, she said, I used to always say, I hate you because I liked you so much that it made me mad. So I had to tell you I hated you before I confessed first to being, I love you. So I said it first.
Oh, I'd love to hear couple stories. I do.
Ours is a train wreck.
No, no. You know what? I love love. I love love so much that the last episode that I posted of 5 minutes with Marcy Rockergirl is all about couples. So if there's any couples out there, check out my YouTube. And the episode before that was for all my singles. Check out YouTube as well.
Absolutely. I always wanted to do we had some ideas for this show, and some people are like, it won't fly. Like a singles episode where a couple guys, couple girls come on, just talk about the single life.
That would work. Why would that work?
I thought so. We had a lot of ideas. Like we had an idea of like a virtual bikini contest, and some people were like, "That's great." Some people were like, "Oh, that's such a bad idea." So who knows? And
that's a great idea. Virtual bikini. I would do it.
Yeah, shit. Here we're doing it then. It's gonna be one of these.
Wait. Oh! Speaking of bikinis, I'm glad you mentioned it.
Well, it's not like that one. That's hot looking.
And the reason why I have this was because I made a few jokes on social media that I was going to wear my bikini. So for all the people who tuned in, I hope you are still tuned in because now you finally get to see Marcy Rockergirl's bikini.
There it is. Wow.
And if you want to see it actually on my body, check me out on Instagram.
OnlyFans. I'm sorry.
Instagram or Facebook. I have a whole bunch of bikini shots. Just put it out there.
That's great. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. And it's funny you said that. And I want to. We did this last night. And I'm going to do this story again real quick. I didn't plan on talking about this, but I will again because you just mentioned bikini and women being proud of their body and the way they look. I hope I kept it. No, I erased it. So anyway, 54-year-old actress Donna D'Errico, who used to be on Baywatch, and she's beautiful. 4th of July, she had a red, white, and blue bikini. She put it on Instagram, and people were ripping her like, how can you be in a bikini and act your age, and aren't you embarrassed? So her rebuttal was this, and I'll show this again because I love it. This is her 54 years old. That's Donna D'Errico, terrific actress. She looks amazing.
She's amazing. She's beautiful.
Beautiful woman. I always followed her. She used to be on Baywatch, and she was married to a rock star, and I've always been a fan of hers. And she's like, look, long story short, you didn't like that bikini? Here's this bikini. Look, I feel confident in my body. 54 years old. I mean, she looks amazing. So if the women got it and they're proud of it and they could show it, let them show it. Don't critique people for what they wear. What are you going to do with my OnlyFans when I'm walking around in my underwear? You're going to critique me? Jesus Christ.
I think this OnlyFans thing is the best idea that we've came up with in the last 20 minutes or so.
I'm scared. I'm scared of it.
I think it's a great idea. I think it is.
Okay. It's not going to happen. What happened? You went blank on me. All right.
It's interesting because my computer is dying.
Oh.
And I am trying to. I figured out why it is. You know why it is, everybody?
You're not plugged in.
Wrong charger.
That'll do it.
I just found. Is that the right charger?
I don't know. I'm not there.
I just found. No, you know what? Honestly, this is the room that I never use. But I thought it was a better background, and plus it's a lot brighter in here.
Yes, that's
so this is my first time using the room, and apparently there was an extra charger laying there, and the whole time I'm looking at my screen going, oh my god, I need to plug it in. So I'm plugging it around, and it's like not, and then all of a sudden I peek, and I'm like, whose charger is this? This is not even my charger. I don't even know where this thing came from. It's like a random charger. but I'm okay now. I'm okay now because I found my legit charger and it's legit plugged in. And so I can go another however long I need to go. But more importantly, your OnlyFans.
Yes.
We need to collaborate on this.
I like it. Got to come up with a great idea, and we got to get those subscribers. We'll make it cheap, $5 a month, because that's just how many women are going to come pouring in this. Or men. I don't know.
If you make it at a good price, you can get like all you need is 1 million subscribers a month.
Doesn't sound that hard.
And then we'll be set. You know, you give me 10%, and I'll be happy for doing the promotion. I mean, I'll be ecstatic with 10,000 of your $5 million a month. You know,
it's not a bad racket. It really is not. You get the viewers, and you know.
And this is what you do. I already know what you do. Like, okay, so there's a lot of people on social media who legit all they do is wear T-shirts of their favorite bands, or not even their favorite band, just famous bands. So that's your OnlyFans. Your OnlyFans is literally just you wearing different cool band T-shirts
with my balls out. Yeah.
Okay, you brought that up. I didn't see that part. I did not condone nudity. Okay, you threw that in.
See, my mind just tracks. But
I'm just saying, I had the T-shirt. Okay, whatever goes on down there, you threw that part out there.
Maybe just wear the T-shirt around my waist, so the band name kind of covers the junk. Yeah, see, that's no.
What are you wearing on top though?
Absolutely nothing. No, it's all dad bod. Nobody wants
your top is exposed. Scandalous.
Right? But like the bottom is covered by his back. Tell you what, it went from a great idea to like the world's worst idea in just mere seconds.
I think if we do the right price, we can still get like 5 or 600 million people to subscribe.
I'll play it smart. Like my cover photo will be like a hot girl, and then when they click on, it'll be me, and they'll be like, "What the fuck did I just pay for? Who is this guy?"
Okay. The hot girl could be you, and then it won't be false advertisement, huh? It could be your Halloween thing going on. You know,
we have a picture of that. If I still have it here,
the hair, the top.
Is that picture gone?
We have a picture like that?
There it is. So we lovingly call this Jeffany, and it was me in a wig, and I put
Jeffany will get us 500 million followers. See, there you go. You already have the picture that's going to go on the cover.
That's a sexy beast right there.
That's a sexy beast, and that's perfect. People will click on for Jeffany.
I agree. I love me some Jeffany.
I love Jeffany already.
See?
Just saw that picture for a few seconds. I want to subscribe, okay? Jeffany.
There you go. Holy shit. Jeffany on OnlyFans.
Jeffany on OnlyFans, yes.
Should be on OnlyFan, because I think just going to be Marcy. OnlyFan.
So when people inbox me about OnlyFan, that means I can just tell them, no. Jeffany is the one you want.
Yeah, there. Now we got something cooking. I'll tell Jewel the same thing when they ask her. Like, no, my OnlyFan handle is Jeffany, and this. Got to subscribe first before you see any pictures though. I like this idea more and more every day.
I think it's a great idea. I think we should do it. You know, while the idea is still hot, you know, we should go for it.
I've had a few people say to me, like, "Yo, put like your show ad on OnlyFans," and I'm like, "What?" Like, yeah, you don't have to do anything. Like, everybody thinks it's automatically just about nudity and sexy pictures and all that, but apparently a lot of people are on there promoting themselves on it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could advertise a show on it. I could advertise, my goods, but
I mean, there's so many platforms. You could do Cameo. Cameo would be fun.
I like to do Cameo.
I mean, you could do shout outs, and you could break people up over the message, and there's so much you can do with that.
And there's a lot of great places to be seen. Like you said, like Instagram, of course, is huge, and Facebook is still hanging tough. We also show the show, and this is something you might want to try for yourself as well. Twitch is very big right now. Twitch is mostly a gaming site, but we put our show on there. They do have like talk show sites and all that you can go on. We don't have a huge following on Twitch, but it's something you can get into because if people start following you, I think like 400 followers on Twitch will get you like a little bit of affiliate and a little bit of money back, and it's a little tricky to get to know the ins and outs, but it's something to try. It's Twitch, TWITCH. Maybe throw your show up there one night, advertise on one of the Facebook, Twitch pages, like, hey, check me out. You never know. You never know who sees you there, too. It's just another avenue to get your face seen.
So, do I do the cosplay kind of thing? Do I get dressed up in like costumes and stuff?
That's actually very big on Twitch. A lot of girls do the cosplay. Some girls game and cosplay at the same time. I'm always a fan of that. I mean, some people really.
I like the idea of that. Like, I like the idea of just dressing in the costumes. Like, I did this one photo shoot, which I have a few pictures on my Instagram and Facebook, and I actually have it in my closet where I got dressed with the little schoolgirl uniform and stuff. So I do. I like playing dress.
Next Wednesday on You 2.0, Jeff Perini and Marcy the schoolgirl.
No, I do. I don't do it enough as far as, in my photos. But I mean, stuff like me getting dressed like Jessica Rabbit and stuff like that.
She's my favorite.
I
love her.
Do you know who I used to like when I was a kid? It's so ridiculous, but I used to, for whatever reason, think she was me. I used to love Betty Boop. Do you remember Betty Boop?
Oh, sure. Everybody loves Betty Boop. Betty Boop has like the most. And it sounds weird because, but it's the thought process behind Betty Boop is very sexy. And it's supposed to be kind of like a spokesgirl for a certain thing. It's supposed to be like a certain degree of class. But let's face it, Betty Boop is a sexy character.
She's totally sexy. And for you out there who don't know who Betty Boop is, go look it up, okay? Because I used to love her.
And get out from under a rock because Betty Boop's been around forever. If you don't know who she is. Got about 10 minutes because we go on to 10 o'clock. We can do one topic real quick. We'll talk about this because I've been talking about this with anybody who has an ear.
Okay.
And as you know, because you're into rock and rock music, and the rumor going around is all about the Pantera reunion. So Phil and Rex from Pantera decided to go on tour with the music of Pantera, and they brought in Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benante, the drummer from Anthrax. And social media went berserk. It's disrespectful. There's no more Dimebag. There's no more Vinny. They're both dead. You're ruining the name. You're trashing the image. Blah, 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 blah. For me, to go on tour as a celebration of Pantera and to get talented artists to join and go out with the music of Pantera, to me, isn't disrespectful. They still are the driving force. It's great music that this generation should be accustomed to and brought into. How do you feel about that, especially as somebody who gets into art? Do you think it's disrespectful, or do you think it's a project that you would check out? Because I know I'm going. I am getting a ticket. I don't care what it costs.
So, interesting story about me and Pantera. I know I'm Marcy Rockergirl, so maybe I'm killing a little bit of my credibility, but I am really like old school. So I'm like mostly like the 80s hair band girl. But honestly, I never really started listening to Pantera, until they had, like This Love was out. And, I mean, so that was way later on. But I did like what they did. Like, they were hard and in your face, and I really appreciate their style. What I was just thinking about when you were talking, which I hadn't thought about any time earlier when I was thinking about, this Pantera reunion, is I was thinking about the Monkees. Do you remember when the Monkees got older and they decided that they wanted to go on tour? Yeah. And then it was like little by little, one Monkee died and the other one still toured. And then another Monkee died and the remaining two still toured. So it was kind of like that. The only difference is that in the Monkees case, like they didn't bring on new people and call them the Monkees. Like they were just like background people. Yeah. So I don't know if maybe Pantera should just be those two and just whoever played be just like background people, or are they considering, the new people they're bringing in like part of Pantera. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know exactly how that's going to work. What I will say, because I mean, there's so much controversy, and from what I'm hearing, because obviously I've never met any of them, you know, it was all controversy about the prior relationships between the members before they passed away, you know, and I think if they were friends or a tighter union, or maybe aired out some of the issues they had before they passed away, I think more people would be so much more receptive to this. So what I will say is that for some of the fans, they're going to be really, really excited, because prior to this announcement, they never thought they'd have a chance to see any of them live doing this material. But unfortunately for the other side of the fans, which right now it's probably like a 50-50 split, honestly, because I'm reading a lot of the comments. I would say it's 50-50 on either side. For them, you know, some of them just don't care. They're like, I'm not going. But then other ones are like really deeply offended and upset. So I don't know. I'm just curious, how's it going to go? Like, how are the sales going to go? What's the reviews going to be? What's the feedback? Like, I'm just going to sit around and wait and watch, because I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if it's going to end up being one of the biggest announcements, biggest tours ever, or if it's just going to be chaos. You know what I mean? Like mass chaos. I don't know.
I agree, because lead singer Phil Anselmo had problems with a bad back. He had voice issues, and to sing like that, that's tough. So I think the pressure's on him, because obviously, you know, Rex Brown plays bass. Zach Wild's being brought in. He's a legendary guitarist, guitar. And, you know, Charlie plays the drums. So the pressure's on Phil, and he's the one sticking his neck out to get this going. So, yeah, I guess he feels good enough about it. I'm excited for it. I want to see it. And I don't think it kills the legacy, but they should call it a celebration of Pantera, or celebrating the music of, not, hey, we're Pantera again. You know what I mean? Because that's a little disrespectful to just get, you know, new guys and put them out there. I got to read something here. I got to read this real quick. Yeah, go ahead.
So let me ask you this. If it doesn't work, if it's a humongous flop, do you think this is going to kill Phil's career? Do you know what I mean? Like, if he goes out on a limb for this and it just flops, it's just nothing goes right, they make no sales, so much negative feedback. I mean, where does that leave him, in your opinion?
It's funny you said it, because when you brought it up before about, I forgot. Sorry, I drew a blank. But it can damage his career. Well, like I said, the relationships with the other members. Phil kind of got casted out, and everybody saw him as like the big jerk, like the guy who ripped it all apart, the guy who couldn't be a team player and nobody got along with. So yeah, if he brings us back and it crashes, he is like forever. His legacy becomes that of a troublemaker that has ruined the legacy of this band. Honestly.
See, for me, I always go back to one of my best friends used to always say, there's three sides to the story: his side, her side, and the truth. And for me, I always say the truth usually lies in between both sides. So honestly, the only people who really know what happened were the people involved. Like, everybody else can say, oh, I believe him, or I believe him. But, you know, when people tell stories, they tell their side of the story. They don't usually tell the whole story. So honestly, beyond those people, you know, and two of them are no longer with us, we'll never really know what happened.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point, because nobody is there, but there's actual people. And I always love that, because this speculation happens a lot in with athletes. This player doesn't want to play here. This player doesn't want to play with him. How the hell do you know, dude? You're writing something to try to make a sale. Nobody knows how the band got along, and even if you break up for whatever reason it is. It's their business. They know. We don't have to.
Right. And think about how frustrated we would be if people were making up stories about us that we know for a fact are just not true. So It's like, people love to talk about these people, but you know what? They're people, okay? And some of it may be true, none of it may be true. We don't really know. So for me, I just try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And you know what? Just wish everybody well,
Sure.
whatever you do in life, I wish you well,
I agree, because I read a press clipping that said after Yo 2.0, Jeff and Marcy were backstage screaming at each other.
Nobody's gonna believe that.
I know.
I'm a peaceful person. You guys don't believe that, right?
Don't believe that. I'll video record it. So that's about it. We run to 10 o'clock. We're just about there. But I just want to remind everybody that the Yo Show comes at you Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. This week we have a superstar guest. The awesome band, Whole Damn Mess is going to be with us. And Whole Damn Mess, they were just in town at Philly Winery a couple weeks ago. They gave my wife this awesome hat that they all autographed.
I like that.
They all autographed it, and really cool guys. They're a decent-sized band with a good following, so I reached out to PR people, and I explained, you guys met my wife, and she was a cancer survivor, and you got her the hat, and they're like, yeah, let's go on a show. So they're on Tuesday night, Whole Damn Mess. Yo 2.0 comes back Wednesday night. Marcy, I would love to invite you back to do this again. I got a lot of people looking for the guest co-host spot, but I'd love to put you in again sometime and do this again.
I would love to do it again. Just let me know when you need me. I would always love to be a guest. It was so much fun.
Awesome. I had a great time as well. And don't forget to check out the first ever co-ed OnlyFans, Jeff and Marcy getting naked on OnlyFans.
No. He's doing whatever he's doing. I'm dancing.
Right. We got a dancer and we got a waxer.
A bikini dancer.
I like
bikini
that.
Dancer.
Quick story for you before we go off the air, because we talked about bikinis. I'm going to show you something real quick. And
okay.
It's a story I tell all the time. Jules like enough of this story. So, about a year ago plus, our most watched guest with over like 10,000 views was a model named Brianna Dale. She's huge on Instagram, over 1 million followers. She does all kind of modeling work, etc. So we had her on the show. This is her, for those of you who may not know.
No,
so
she's beautiful.
Oh, she's such a beautiful girl. She's built wonderful, but she's also a sweetheart. We had such a great time with her. And she comes on the show, and she's backstage before the show even starts. She gets there early. And it's just me before Julia gets there. And she's like, so what do? Do I wear a bikini, or am I okay in my my like little onesie thing? Like the little onesies the girls wear.
Oh,
like,
I'm cute.
So she's like, am I good with this, or should I wear a bikini? And I'm like, oh, no, that what you're wearing right now is fine. And for a
you didn't
second,
tell
I'm
her
like,
to wear the bikini? Are you kidding me?
No, I didn't.
I would say a onesie over a bikini. That's great that you're married and you didn't even think like a single guy. Because I don't know any single guys who would pick a onesie over a bikini. I don't know any.
Afterwards, because I told Jewel after, Jewel's like, you said no to the bikini? What's wrong with you? I'm like, right? And even my wife said, yeah, if you ever got that girl to come to town, that's your hall pass, because there ain't no way you're getting that. And I agree. I mean, I'm not getting that. Come on. But
she is so beautiful. And she
really
does. She looks really sweet, and she looks really happy. And
very cool.
I can see why she has lots of fans. I can definitely see why. Absolutely.
But does she have OnlyFans? Yes, she does, actually. But yeah,
I was going to say that. She's so beautiful. Of course she has OnlyFans. Look at that body. Her body's perfect.
And she was great. We had a great time with her. And if you check it out, it's episode 99. The audio was terrible. It's back before we had good audio. But she told some funny ass stories, and she was just a great time. But yeah, see, I show some dignity, and I said no bikini, and I regret it.
I am proud and shocked at the same time. Like I'm saying, like she's so beautiful. I would be like, you know what, honey, wear whatever you feel comfortable in. I'd be like this bikini. No, I'd be like this bikini right here.
Wear whatever you're comfortable with, or whatever you're not comfortable with. Like if it's nudity, and I didn't even notice at the time. Jewel noticed that in the background there's a picture of her. She had like a portrait of herself, bare ass,
nice.
like bare ass. It was her ass, and I didn't even notice it.
She's so beautiful.
I know, I love it.
Like, when you've got a body that perfect, like I don't even call it nudity. You're just showing your assets.
It's called art. if my wife is watching. All right, so we're going to bring it home. I thank everybody that tunes in. A gigantic thanks to the men from Poeta. Thank you so much. They are awesome. Make sure you check it out. I still got the scroll going on down the bottom, and I love doing this in my radio voice. Check out Poeta on Instagram at Poeta Band, Facebook at Poeta. That's horrible. It's moving too slow. But check them out on YouTube. It's moving too slow for me to do it. YouTube, Apple Music, watch the videos, get the songs, download them. I got a couple already on my playlist. On the way to work tomorrow, I'm going to be checking out beacons.ai/Poeta Band is the website. Friday night, they're going to be live in Brooklyn, New York at the Knitting Factory. Can't wait to see it. A massive thank you to those guys. A humongous thank you to Marcy Rockergirl. Absolutely super cool. This was better than I could have expected. I mean, like I said, we passed through comments and we're civil. We didn't know how this would be, and it's been perfect. It's been absolutely amazing. A lot of smiles, a lot of laughs, and we had a great time.
So much.
Thank you. Don't forget on YouTube, 5 minutes with Marcy Rockergirl is the best 5 minutes you'll spend all freaking day because it's fun, it's insightful, it's great topics. You might get a little insulted when she tells you what you're really all about, men.
No insults. Positive vibes only. Positive vibes.
Positive vibes only. Men, stop being jerks. All right, this is the part of the show where I got to load up. This is where my technical skills are a little sluggish because you actually watch me load this up. We're going to take you out with the music of St. Ricketts. This is The Catalyst. Don't forget www.strickitt's.com. My absolute favorite band for Jeff the Shark Perini and Marcy Rockergirl. Have yourself a great Wednesday night. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's clock us out there and play some music. I got to turn the volume up in case anybody's wondering why it's taking me so long. There we go. Good night.
Introduce yourself.